Welcome back to another Python tutorial. In today's video we're going to do a mini project where we try to incorporate as many things as we can that we learned in prior videos. And to do that we're going to be making a password generator. Now I don't recommend that you use this for your actual passwords. This is mainly just a learning exercise. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do first is we're going to create a list of different characters. The first one is going to be a list of lowercase letters. So let's go ahead and say lower_letters. And this is going to be a list, so we're going to use square brackets. And then we're not going to list all the letters, let's just list a few of them. So let's do A, we'll do B, C, and D. Okay, next we want to create a list of uppercase letters. And rather than create a new list and us typing in those uppercase letters, let's use a for loop in one of the features of strings to do that for us. So what we're going to say is we're going to do upper_letters. And we're just going to set this equal to an empty list. And then we're going to use a for loop. So we're going to say for I in lower letters. And then we're going to be adding stuff to the upper letters. So we're going to say upper letters dot append. So dot append is how you can add things to a list. And then what we're going to be adding is the letter I, which comes from the lower letters. And we're going to say dot upper. So what this is going to do, it's going to go through all the letters in lower letters. And then it's going to be adding this to upper letters by using upper letters dot append. And then what it's adding is that particular letter and then the uppercase version of it. Okay, so just to check to make sure that worked, let's go ahead and print the list of uppercase letters. And then if we run our program, we have the list A, B, C, and D, but the uppercase version. Okay, let's go ahead and make a list of some numbers. And let's just go ahead and choose 4 numbers. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we'll also make a list of some symbols. And for this list, let's go ahead and do the question mark. We'll do the exclamation point, the %sign, and then the hashtag. And just to make our lives a little bit easier later on, instead of having these as integers, let's just go and convert them to strings. Otherwise, when we're combining strings with these numbers, we'll have to convert them to strings anyway. So while we're at it, we'll just convert them to strings now. Okay, there we go. So we have 4 lists. So we have a list of lowercase letters. We have a list of uppercase letters. We have a list of numbers and a list of symbols. And what I want to do is make a password that is a random combination of items in these lists. So since I'm going to be doing stuff with random, I need to import that at the top. So I'm going to do import random. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to define a variable called password. And this is going to be equal to a random item from each one of these lists. So let's go ahead and start with the lower letters. So we're going to do random.choice. And then inside the parentheses will be the list it's going to choose from. So we're going to start with lower letters. And then we're going to combine this with a random choice from the upper letters. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and paste it. And we're going to change it from lower to upper. And then we're just going to continue for the other lists. So we'll have one for the num list. And finally one for the symbol list. Okay, and to see what password it made, let's go ahead and print off password. So down here we're going to say print and then password. And let's go ahead and run our program. And we see that our password is lowercase b, the uppercase D, the number 1, and the question mark. If I rerun the program, I get a new password. Okay, so now what we're going to do is make this program a little bit more complex. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a list that contains all the other lists. So let's go ahead and call this all_list. And this is going to be a list that contains all the other ones. So I'm going to include lower letters, comma, upper letters, and then also the num list and the symbols list. And what I'm going to do, instead of defining the password this way, I'm going to have it choose a random list from the all list and then a random item from that particular list. So I'm going to be doing this with a for loop. So I'm going to say for I in range, and then I'm going to do for, and then I'm going to say password plus equals. And what this is going to do is it's going to take the current password and add some character to it. But before I can do this, I need to define my password up above here. So we're going to set password equal to an empty string. Okay, so what I'm going to be adding to the password each time is a random choice from a random list, and then from that random list, a random item. So I'm going to say random.choice, and then I'm going to be choosing a random list from the all list. So that'll get me a random list. And then to get a random item from that list, I'm going to do another random choice. And then enclose that in parentheses. So this inner part is getting me a random list, and the outer one is getting me a random item from that list. Okay, so let's go ahead and run our program and take a look. So if we look at it, we got a hashtag, the number 3, a lowercase c, and a question mark. If I rerun the program, then I keep getting new passwords. And if I change this number here, so let's say I do 8 instead, and let's go ahead and run our program. Now I have a password that is 8 characters long. Okay, and now we're going to be adding one more layer to this. We're going to put the password generation as part of a function. That way, instead of rerunning the program, we can just call the function and it'll give us a new password each time. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to define a new function right here. So I'm going to say def, and then it's going to be new underscore pass for new password, but you can call this function whatever you want to. It's going to take in one parameter, and that'll be size, which will be the length of the password. And then I need to indent all this here, since I want that to be part of the function. And then this parameter is going to be used to determine the size of the password, so I need to include that right here, because the number of times the for loop repeats determines how long my password is going to be. Okay, so now if I run my program, it doesn't do anything automatically, but if I say new underscore pass, and then I want a password that has 9 characters, and press enter, then it gives me a password with 9 characters. I can call the function again, and let's say this time I want a password with only 4 characters, and I press enter, then it generates a password with 4 characters. Okay, we can do one more. And if I call this function with 12, then I get a password with 12 characters. In this video, we combine a bunch of different topics that we learned in prior videos. Whenever you learn a set of new information, it's always a good idea to try to incorporate that in some type of mini project. That way, you can practice your skills and also make it more interesting for yourself. Okay, this is going to be the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next one.